In this video, we're going to return back to price controls now that we're equipped with the tools to evaluate welfare. In this video, we're going to ask the question, when we impose a price control, who benefits and who loses? And we'll use our notions of consumer surplus, producer surplus, and deadweight loss to help us answer this question. So to start, let's set up a supply and demand system. And let's impose a price floor, which is a legal minimum price. If we impose the price floor below equilibrium, the control is not binding. So let's instead impose the price floor above equilibrium. Here, the incentives from buyers and sellers are pushing the market towards equilibrium, but the price gets stuck at a point as close as possible to equilibrium. We call this a binding price floor because the price floor has an effect on the market. As we've done before, consumer surplus is the area below the demand curve, above the price, and inside the quantity exchanged. Producer surplus is the area below the price, above the supply curve, and inside the quantity exchanged. And finally, deadweight loss is the area between the supply curve and the demand curve, above the lost quantity. Here we can see that the higher price and lower quantity exchanged both decrease consumer surplus, while producer surplus goes up slightly. This policy, though, cuts off a region of total surplus since we're raising the price, which causes an excess and a reduction in the quantity exchanged. What about a binding price ceiling, a maximum legal price? Here, incentives push the price towards equilibrium, but we get constrained since the equilibrium doesn't lie on the legal interval. So prices get as close as possible to equilibrium, but get stuck at the price ceiling. Here, consumer surplus is a bit larger since the price is lower despite the quantity exchange being smaller than equilibrium. Producer surplus, though, is smaller, both from the lower price and the lower quantity exchanged. And again, we still have deadweight loss since we're losing some quantity. The interpretation here is not that price controls like minimum wage and rent control are bad. We have many policy agendas, and we can evaluate the effectiveness of these policies based on our wants and needs as a society. But when we evaluate how well a policy is doing, this type of welfare analysis gives us a tool set to evaluate the effectiveness of the policy and its welfare implications. In the next video, we'll do something similar with the second government policy we'll look at in this class, taxes.